everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is another video for my holiday card series in 2024. Again, we are using some pattern paper just to make things easy, especially when you are mass producing. So today we're going to make a card that looks like it has some packages on the front of it. So what I did is I went ahead and made a 5x7 card base, which means I took a piece of 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock, cut it to 7 by 10, and then folded it on the 10 inch side, at 5. That gives you a 5x7 card base. Then I went to my stash and I cut out some Cardstock Warehouse cardstock to 4x6. I wanted there to be about a 1/2 inch margin on either side of my card base. My card base is just HAMMERMILL cardstock, and then I will try to list the colors of my other cardstock below. Some of it I don't have labels for, so I'm not entirely sure, but any cardstock that matches your pattern paper will work. This pattern paper comes from Paper Studio, so from Hobby Lobby. It is very, very thin. So one of the things that I try to be mindful when my cardstock is very thin, it's like copyweight paper, is that if you use like liquid glue, it'll cause it to bubble and warp, and I really don't want that to happen. So I try to use like a tape runner or a dry adhesive. What I did is I went to my stash and just kind of cut sections of various patterns of this cardstock, and I wanted there to be like a tall package, and I wanted there to be a kind of long and rectangular package. And then I wanted the lid of the package or the gift to be a little bit longer so it would look like a lid. And I also wanted it to be about 1.25 inches wide. And then I just went and kind of cut the packages to where they would fit. I think they ended up being like 3 inches wide by like 4 inches tall for the long one, the one I'm placing down right now. And then the other one was like 3 by 5. That one doesn't even have to be that long. How I placed it, it runs off of the edges of the cardstock, so I ended up having to cut some of it off. But I liked that look for this kind of layout. Here I'm showing you that I'm just using some dry adhesive. This is AdTech. I get this off of Amazon, but I know that like Hobby Lobby has it, but any tape runner or even like double-sided tape you have will work here. And as you see, I just layered that off to the side. Then I'm going to flip it. It's easier for me to remove excess paper from the back. It gives me just the card base gives me a guide to follow so I don't get all like wonky. And then a long pair of sharp scissors is your best friend. Then I went to my stash and I recently purchased this. This is from Picket Studios. This is I can't remember what it's called, but I'll list it below. Oh, it says right there, but I'm blind, so I can't read it. I used all of the bows here except for the one that has the really long tails. I didn't feel like that one worked for any of the cards that I had today, but that is an option. I just didn't feel like it fit with my layout. For these, because this cardstock is a little bit heavier weight, it's like 100 pound, I was able to use some liquid glue for that one, for the bows to adhere those down. And then I took my magnets to kind of apply pressure and some weight while that glue set. One of the things that I saw, so this card is inspired by something I saw on Pinterest, and on the inspiration one, they actually used like baker's twine to tie what looks like a bow around it. And I thought about using baker's twine, but my paper was really thin. And I didn't want to have to like fiddle with like foam tape and add extra bulk. So one of the options that I did consider for a little bit is to go ahead. Sorry, I had to adjust my camera there. One of the options I did consider was just cutting out thin strips of coordinating cardstock in whatever color the bow was. So in this case, red, and making that crisscross to where it looked like ribbon. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel like it was worth taking extra time to do that, although that is definitely an option. For the sentiment, this comes from a Hero Art set, and again, I will list that below because I cannot remember what it's called right now. And I'm using some Hero Arts Unicorn White Pigment ink to stamp this sentiment. It says Season's Greetings up at the top. And I'm using my mini Misty for this, although I could have gotten my bigger one out. I just was lazy, and this one was closer. I do end up stamping that sentiment a few times just so that I can get kind of a crisp image. And I know from past experience using this ink that as it dries, it kind of absorbs some of the color behind it. So it's not quite as crisp, bright white. But that is it. That is the card for today. You could actually absolutely embellish this a little bit more if you wanted to, but again, I want to keep these cards very quick to put together. I want to keep them to where they are very mailable and you wouldn't have to pay extra for postage. So feel free to take this and run with it, or to kind of keep it simple like I have it here. But this is another one of the videos trying to do mass producing quick and easy. So I appreciate you spending time with me. I hope you felt inspired, and you will stay tuned for the future videos in this holiday card series. Until then, we'll see you next time. Bye.